October 10, 2023 regular meeting of the Fairview-Council. This time, Council Lady Finley will have our invocation.
Could we bow our heads, please? Our kind and gracious, loving Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the beauty of this day. We are grateful for the opportunity to be here tonight to attend to the concerns of our town of Fairview. We ask for your presence with us as we do our best to make good decisions. Please hear our prayers. Amen.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any changes to the agenda? There are none. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Second. All in favor? And the agenda is approved. Are there any public comments? None. Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. Is there anything that you'd like to pull off, you can add to the agenda. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
All in favor? And the consent agenda is approved. Move to items of business. Item number 1, discuss the park grant application for 2024. I guess the first thing we want to think about is, do we want to apply? I'd like to hear from council as far as, do you want to apply for a park grant for 2024?
I'd like to see us do that. I don't want us to miss an opportunity.
Okay.
Mom, and I'm not disagreeing at all. I was talking to Ed about it. You know, it is an expense. I think Ed mentioned that it was around $8,000 for us to use the niche to just apply.
Right.
And so that's my only concern. You know, they are pretty successful in their grants and getting grants. Hopefully they would give us some good guidance on whether they thought we'd be successful before we went down the path and spent $8,000.
Right. Others?
I just got one comment on that. If we apply for it, I'd like to see it doesn't necessarily have to be surveyed off, but a line cut on the property so that the whole 65 acres is not tied up in the park. That kind of restricts your, ties your hands just a little bit with what you can do for it. If we hadn't cut off the road frontage on the first, and we would not have been able to have given the fire department that acre of land, because it was parked and it has to stay parked for 20 years. So if we do it, then it needs, I think we need to cut a section of it off. That way we're not totally tied up with the rest of it.
How big of a section are you thinking about, Jerry?
Maybe from the field back. Straight back, from the field on the right, not one on the left, one on the right, which our trail begins in it, which won't make no difference. But I think that'd be a smart thing to do. I don't know that we ever do anything with the rest of it, but use it as a park, but it could be something that we used it for that Davis Crew is not being park use or want to use it for. Okay. And, I'm concerned about that. We don't do that.
had not thought about that. It does make sense.
I got a quick question, and this is just for, I've had some questions. When we met with the guy from the League of Municipalities, am I dreaming this, or did he say that they could help us with grants?
He did.
Yeah, they can.
So is that something that would that apply to the part where we didn't have to pay the money to other people to get the grant, they could help us to get any grant?
They could help us with writing the grant. I don't know that they would, I don't know what their success rate is.
Well, I don't know either, that's just a thought, I was just asking.
I know Benish has been pretty successful in getting grants in the past. They got one from Monroe this past year. They got one for us, the original part of it we had, they got it for us.
Well, can we do, if we do Vanessa, can we do with them as well? Can we apply for multiple grants? There's no reason why. Can we do that if we wanted to?
Only one part. We know it.
Only one part.
Yeah.
They've got, the government signed a bill put, or in the budget, $12 million in the park this year. And that's a little more than they have had in the past. 17 million in trail grants. So, we should have waited this year to get for a trail.
Mr. Mayor, did I miss it? What is the grant gonna be for? I mean, have you decided what you want to match as far as amounts? And what are you gonna
Well,
apply for?
that was my next part.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I think we need it for a pavilion, but we've got to decide what we can match successfully.
Yeah, and Daryl sent me information today. The SCIF grant that we have for the park, we spent a little over 94,000. We have left about almost 156,000 out of the SCIF grant that we've got to spend on the park.
Was there a date for that?
2026, we had to extend it.
And that can be used for matching.
Well, I don't know that you want to use it for matching. I think what you do is, you know, you've got that money, and we've got in the general fund enough money to match the park. I don't know that you call it, this gift grant matched it. I think you just, if whatever we decide, I think we take it out of the general fund, and then we know we've got that much left. In the
Yeah, I
SCIF
think we
grant.
need to base it on the general fund. Can that money be used as matching?
The SCIF grant,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't think it
Probably
can.
not. I think the art can be, unutilized part of the art.
Yeah, but I think I read in that grant for the park that it couldn't be used for matching funds. Now, I might be wrong. I have to go back and read it again, but I don't think it can be used for matching funds.
But it could be interesting. Yeah, how much money was that again?
155,000,
And that can be used for anything at the park?
Yeah,
except to pay off a loan. You can't use it to pay off a
Yeah,
loan.
but I mean, that could be used for the venue thing that we're talking about.
Right, yeah.
Now, that doesn't include clearing, it was just, we haven't paid that yet.
yeah, we gotta get a trail coming back, and we gotta get, we're gonna have to have storage.
So that was, what was that, Jerry, that figure on the trail clearing? Not the mulch.
Oh, it was $4,000.
No, it's more than that. Is it 8,000 or 8,500? 2,000 a day?
4 days.
Well, that's 2,000 a day, right? So that's 8,000.
At 8,000, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, plus. if we-
Excuse me, I had chemo today, and I'm not thinking real smooth.
Plus, if we approve that 2,400, we're looking at roughly 10, 11,000, so roughly 140.
So a good bit of money, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got that money to spend. I think we need to look at it this way. We've got that money to spend. We've also got enough money in the general fund to cover that. So what we use as matching funds, I think we take out of the general fund just to be safe, but knowing that we've got 155 or 145 roughly still to spend on the park.
50/50?
Yeah. As far as whether you can use it for matching, I sat in on several, and Daryl did too, several of these seminars when these grants were being discussed. One person said, no, you can't use it. One person said, yes, you can use it. So I don't know what that means. I guess that's a definite maybe. But I wouldn't count on using that, but just know that we've got that to spend.
But if we come up short on the part, it overruns the, budget like the first one did. We got some money to all
Well,
that.
yeah, that's what I was wondering, say it costs you, 80 grand to do a pavilion, I'm just throwing a number.
Yeah.
You could use part of that for that, you could use part of it, not the matching part. Say we got a $20,000 part of the grant, and we match 20 out of the general fund. You got the other 40 from that to complete the project.
So, Viv, you talking the stage? Where you,
The stage.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's,
Well, the stage was the next thing after the trail.
Yeah.
The people
and that's,
said,
yeah, we all know it's gonna be fairly costly.
you know, right. Here's where my head is on it. I was thinking we've got 145 left to spend on the park. Let's say that's what we've got to match, and then apply for at least that much for the park grant. Does that make sense?
290.
Yeah, apply for a part of the grant, or 300.
300,000.
So then our match, total match would be how much?
Half of that.
Half of the 290? Or half of the 290 plus, half of 300 plus that?
That
We
would be,
have to match, we don't have to match that, do we?
50% off.
So it'd be $150,000.
that would spend just about everything that we've got left in that SCIF grant for the park. Is that where you were going in?
I'm losing you now. Are you using your 150 SPIF money for the matching part?
We're basing it on our, general funds.
We know we've got that to spend. So our matching part would be, let's say 150. Our matching part would be 150, no matter whether it comes out of general fund or SCIF.
In a $300,000 grant.
Right.
Okay. So if you're awarded the 300,000, you got 300,000.
No, we had to pay 150, and they paid 150.
Yeah.
That's the way it works over there.
But you're
I
still,
think that's right, yeah, but I'm not sure you can use the SCIF money.
yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, so we're not sure on that. So we gotta base it.
I don't think we
on what
bank
got.
on that. I think we say we've got 140 something from the SCIF. And then we potentially have 150 plus our 150 match on the part.
So it's gonna be-
So you got,
they're two separate deals, I think,
yeah, $450,000.
and keep it separately.
Yeah.
Now, the 150 would come out of your fund balance,
Right.
you know, and that would be okay.
Yeah.
You got that money in.
What is our fund balance? And when we take out that 200,000, what is our fund balance as of today? Or close.
I think Ed does a little schedule on that.
He does, that's effective on 6/30/2022 is 393. For this list.
What page is that on?
13. We're probably pretty close to that, I think. I mean, I
I
think,
think you've done anything this year, have you?
no, I mean,
The restricted funds from the state, that's what we have left in SCIF grant as of that date.
Yes, and that probably should be adjusted to 145.
Yeah.
So that would increase it.
So that would mean the fund balance would be reduced by roughly 55,340 something. Spendable fund balance.
yeah, we have excess of income over expenses, about 20,000 so far. So that would even be more.
The key is the 200,000 that y'all agreed to keep in there regardless. So we're basing everything of having the 200,000 in the bank.
That we're not going to touch.
Right.
So in that 593 at the very top, is that 200 in that 593?
That's the total.
Yeah. So
So now that 200 is down to 145, right?
Right.
So getting a little tight.
No, no.
Now, 593,
Your
you take-
spendable-
You take 200,000, 393 is what we'll have to keep that 200,000 in there, right?
Your net spendable with keeping $200,000 in the bank is
Exactly.
393.
It's 393.
393.
I understand that, but if you go with a part of it, and you say, oh, I'm gonna fund it at 150,
Okay,
you're kidding.
then you got 200 and then
you
150.
got your 200 you can't touch. You don't wanna touch.
You don't want that. That's
So your spendable now is,
drops down to 150.
which is getting lean for a town that brings in.
330,000.
Exactly.
Well, if you put in, so I guess the question would be in my mind, if you put in for a $300,000 grant, do we have to take all 300, and can we just match what we can afford?
So you go in,
The way
pretty much
that
what you want
works
to do.
is every time an invoice comes in, correct me if I'm wrong, Harold, every time an invoice comes in, we pay half of it and they pay half of it. Is that not the way we did it on the other one?
Well,
Well, we had to pay it, but then you filed for
Yeah.
50% of it, maybe monthly or something like that.
I didn't completely do it that way. I think when it's issued, when the grant is issued, that's when you have to set aside the money then. I mean, I don't, when I pay a bill, I don't say 50% is coming from. the
You
grant.
spend your money first,
Yeah,
then you spend theirs.
But I guess if we get them to do a grant, we're gonna have to tell them how much we want
That is
to,
correct.
what grant we want. So in other words, in this case, you're talking roughly 300,000. If we get if we get the grant, do we have to take all that money? In other words, if our fund balance sits where we can only, to match it, we can only match 140.
You should know that going in.
Should not.
Okay.
You should make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, if you go with Dinesh, you're gonna spend another $8,000 that, so now your balance is down another $8,000.
Well, the 8 will come out of 155, 145.
So we can use that out of, the 8 for Dinesh can come out of the
Right.
auto part.
Because the design that they've done so far came out of the SCIF grant.
Is 145, is the skip grant in the 593?
Yeah,
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 It still comes, 393 still comes down $8,000.
well, the 145 is gonna have to be spent on the park in 2026.
I get it.
So if you're gonna have to spend that, it looks to me like it would make sense to go ahead and realize that our grant could be double that, what we asked for. Because we gotta spend the 150, 145
On the part.
on park.
So I want to make sure I really understand this. If that 145 is in the 593, if that's in that number, that means our spendable fund balance is 393 less the 145.
no. The 145 has already been taken out.
yeah,
So
145.
the 393 is
So
net.
it's not in the top
Just in the
593.
separate fund.
No.
That was.
I'm sorry.
But to John's point, when I was thinking about how much we want to put in for the town's part, if you think about the grants that we've gotten over the last 2 years, those were all one-time things. The American Rescue Plan was, I believe, 267,000 roughly.
That sounds right.
The SCIF grant was 250,000. The town hall grant was 50,000. So we've had 567,000 of non-recurring funds that we're not going to have going forward. So that's something we need to keep in the back of our minds too.
That's correct.
So I think the question that we've got, what I'm hearing is that we do want to apply for a partner grant. Everybody want to?
Well, I suspect, well, we discussed a little before you came in with, I think, with Ed. And this is kind of wishing and hoping is, goes along with, do we want to set aside $8,000 to $10,000 for them to get the grant, or do we want to try to do our best to convince Todd Johnson and Dean Art to get us more money instead of spending money on them, to let them to get the grant, which may or may not work with him we don't spend any money, and if he's successful, for that much. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think it would be Dean or Todd who would be doing that. I think they'd have, but
I'm just talking about the money that, like the 250 we got last time, we try to go back for more of that, is that a waste of time?
I think the budget's already set for the next 2 years.
Okay. Saying, wait, let's say it would be 26, that's not a choice. Okay.
But now Dean, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dean is the chair of the appropriations committee, and he has a lot of pull on the grant. So I would say our chances hopefully should be pretty good on getting a part of it.
So is the first step though determining what we want to spend it on and how much that's going to cost?
That is correct.
I think we just say phase 2 of the park, don't we?
No, it has to be specific what you're gonna spend the money on. It has to be detailed. Unless, you know, you go in, we want an amphitheater, and it's gonna cost $300,000. And you give them, you know, you have some estimates that it's gonna cost $300,000.
But are you held to that? In other words, if you want, you can put $300,000 towards an amphitheater, if it costs more than that, we're still only obligated for $300,000.
We gotta pay whatever the excess is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, we gotta pay for the excess
With the
if we
park
start it.
grant we got, it
But
cost
I guess,
something more what we.
Let's say the amphitheater is 500,000,
right,
and we get a grant of 150.
okay.
That's just 150 we don't have to spend on the 500.
I guess I'm confused now. Whatever you put in for is what you have to spend.
Right.
So to get it completed, well, I guess the question, we know, based on what we're seeing, we probably can't get a suitable stage for 300,000.
That's correct.
So if that's the case, how can we even do that?
We gotta know that if we start it, we gotta finish it.
Which comes out of
Out of the general fund, that's right.
Yeah.
Fine. But you don't go into, if the stage is gonna cost $1 million, and you know there's no way for you to pay for it, even if you got a $150,000 grant, you don't do it. It's the numbers. You wanna feel pretty confident that you've got enough money. The park sort of surprised us because we were in an upswing where everybody was working, so we had to take the bid we got. We only had one, and that was high. Either take the bid or lose the grant.
Well, this is probably a stupid step to make, like it anyway. If 300,000, we don't think is going to, they're going to put in 300,000 and the way things are going, we don't know what we're going to get for a $300,000 stage. Money, right? Things could really change.
You have an estimate of what you're gonna buy.
Yeah, but in our case, we know we can't, 300,000 will be, right now, we're about 300,000 is our limit.
You're gonna have to send in a design,
I mean,
what you
if
want.
300,000 is your limit, you should have a cost of the thing for 300,000.
So I guess what I'm saying in this, and I'm just throwing things out here. For example, is, you know, number one was the trail, number two was the stage, and three was better playground equipment, so forth and so on. Would we be better suited for what we can get for our amount of money to spend whatever it takes to get nice new playground equipment, especially those towards handicap? And then for a stage, right now, we're using once a year, we go out and rent a portable stage out of our own fund balance and get I don't know.
That's a lot of money. We've looked into it. It is a ridiculous amount of money.
What do we mean by?
What's ridiculous? What's ridiculous mean?
Like, Teresa, we looked it up a couple of years ago. It was like 20, 30,000. And we would need it for music, fall, winter.
20,000 to do all
No, it would be a
For
piece if you brought it in.
of them? That's what I'm saying. That's why I was asking is, in looking at something we're going to use once or twice, as opposed to getting something that, you know, is in the top three. And if, I'm just speculating, if Dean is really big on getting that sort of thing, would that help it as opposed to a stage to where, I'm just throwing something out and asking a question.
We've also talked about if we get a more permanent, secure stage, we might be able to do more bands in the park. Like Unionville, I think, does it once a month. And possibly doing that if we had a better place for them. But a lot of bands don't feel comfortable getting on the stage that we have
When is the
anymore.
deadline on this part of grant? Next May?
May 1st, I believe it.
You gotta start May before
And what's the latest we can start?
You have to have public meetings, what are the 2 public meetings, Jerry?
I would say December would be.
3,
the
I
latest.
think, there's 3 the last time, but
Well, I guess,
we
would
had one
it
in
help in
Bethlehem
any
one
way?
year and one that, I took one to the PTO.
Would it hurt anyway if we think that the league, the Fallies will design us a stage? I don't know how long it takes, but if it's something, if they could give us an idea, they could do it between now and December. Should we let them, go ahead and let them start working on that?
I'm not sure they can do it. They're in the process of trying to sort out vendors to do the estimates, or do the estimates and all. So I don't know if they can get it done that quick.
Where are we with, we talked about getting some potential designs.
Well, I have, put in for the Oak Island, and he's supposed to be getting back to me. But I'm gonna be in Oak Island next week, so I'm just thought I might go in
Well, I
there
mean,
and speak to the
One thought would
planner.
be, why don't you go to some companies, the companies are out there that
Oh,
actually
yeah.
build these things. Why wouldn't we just go to the companies and say, use the park committee, say, this is what we want, like,
Mhm.
can you give us some estimates, drawings, whatever, for what it's gonna take? I don't have a clue what the number is right now.
I think you,
$500,000 or just 2 million?
I think you can buy a prefab type thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
But I
it's
don't
not
know. We don't have solid numbers.
I talked to Carolina Recreation Union, our restrooms and picnic shelter. I talked with them several months ago and just asked them, what does a prefab stage run in this size? Basically what we wanted, 14 by what, 30, something like that. He was quoting the price of 200 and 300,000. That's just the stage. That's not wiring. That's not foundation or anything. That's just a prefab stage.
So it's a starting point.
Right.
Gotta know what you're dealing with.
Well, we've got most of it wired.
We got the wiring up there.
Yeah.
It'd just be run from there to the stage.
One more quick question, just to make sure I'm still not confused. We put in for a $300,000 grant to build a stage. Okay, who defines when the stage is finished?
They will,
They was, in other words, if we go for 300,000, we want 300,000 on stage, we find that's gonna cost.
They will inspect it when it's over, but you're saying when it's done, when it's built correctly would be, the county would inspect it.
No, I'm just talking about, they say we put it for matching for 300,000 for stage. We have to spend 300,000 on the stage. We spend 300,000 and the stage is not finished. We gotta come up with,
They'd have to pay for the rest of it.
out of our own pocket.
Right.
Okay. But we,
and then we can, if we have. Want to,
but we would have a 300,000, we'd have something equivalent to $300,000 at one time. We may have a stage of some sort. Which is better than what we have now.
I think it's a degree of what kind of stage you want. I mean, it can be made out of metal, it can be made out of steel, wood. The Oak Island was wood, it's beautiful.
Well,
But we-
Well, it's steel, but it's got a facial.
Yeah,
It's facial.
you can make it out of brick, you can make it out of, I showed her a copy of it was tarp type thing. The very, very, a strong tarp-like thing over a frame. Secure old foundation. So there are companies out there that do that kind of thing.
Well, when I talked to the girl at Oak Island, she said that their stage, they have done it in phases. She said they got the stage, and then the next year they got the lighting, and then this past year they did the dance floor pad out front. So she said, because I said, we really like it, looks nice, and she said, well, we got there in several years.
Well, back to item one, the question that's being discussed is, do we go for the grant?
Right.
And so that's a yes or no, right?
Yeah.
And what we do later can come later. It's up based upon timeline.
It sounds like we're gonna have to have the design pretty quick too.
So quick we do it, we can.
Is there anybody that does not want to do the park grant? Everybody in favor of doing a park grant?
I think we just, yeah, I think we need to apply for it. I think we need to check in with what the league would charge us to apply for it for us. And, of course, there's supposedly, no politicians on the park grant committee. It's all made up of individuals that are not connected to the government in any way, individuals. Because I went to the last one, the day it was awarded. And,
But if we do go to part, they come up with a design, whatever the charge is that design hours?
Say it again.
So if we come up, say, they put in for a design for what they want, and we're putting in the money,
We have,
Yeah, we
we
do
gotta
the
go on design. We have to submit a design of, this is what we wanna build.
so we're paying that
I
ourselves.
mean, we'll have to, get an engineer or a company to say, here's your design, here's your cost.
And this
they
is
use
what we're
that-
gonna apply for.
They use that to fill out the paperwork. Real quick question about payment again. We get, say it's $300,000, that's what this thing costs us. We pay that, we're paying it and then getting reimbursed for it as we pay it.
Yeah, I was thinking back about
The
that.
last 150, you are, but the first 150, you pay for it out of your money.
Okay, so the first 150's gone, that came out of our general fund.
And then we get it
All right, then we say we've got another 150 we gotta spend that we're gonna
On
get
the property.
reimbursed.
Yeah, we just fill out a report each month and send it to
They're
them.
pretty quick about getting it to us.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, because that's critical to our
Cash flow.
cash flow.
yeah, oh, yeah. yeah.
Does
But
Benish have engineers that they work with that do this
Oh,
kind of design?
sure.
Wondered if we might be able to work with them to get that done pretty quick.
the question is, are we gonna be tied to the architect, contractor, and everything else like we was with the other part that we bid, the first part? Because that added about $200-something thousand to it.
I think once we get the design, we can probably let the contracts ourselves, I would think.
If we can do that, I'll be happy.
Because I was not impressed with the control of the contractor that Benish did.
No, I want to have to contract me instead. We had probably some strong words then if you.
I think first thing first things first, do we want to apply for part of it?
Worst case scenario.
I don't know what's
I
coming
still- I
first,
still
chicken or
think-
egg.
I still think they
I
go
mean, yeah,
together.
The only way we're gonna do this is to get a grant.
Do you want to do you want to apply for to build a stage?
Do I what?
Is
Do
that
you
what the
want to
grant's
apply for
What
a
grants are
grant
for.
to help build a stage?
That was the next thing on the
I
list
think, yeah.
to do.
So that's,
Stage and amphitheater, however you want.
however that phases in.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna do that, then yeah, I'm in favor of applying, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to do it. So
And like Oak Island, if it takes you a couple of years,
even if you just put a stage down.
That's right.
It didn't put anything else to get
and then
started.
next year build a top to it. Then the next year build
I think
it.
you got 3 years to complete it, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, after you spend your money, Jerry, if it's not enough, you can
It has
build
to
it.
be completed in a certain amount of time, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 3 years.
I think you're right. I think I remember 3 years.
Would it be better to just take the 150 and build it ourselves?
Well, that's a thought.
Then we wouldn't be obligated to do anything, I mean, as far as the grant is concerned.
And then eight.
Teresa can find out who built that one down there.
Eight thousand.
You contract the company
Yeah.
and, find out what that would cost. And if we're interested in it, we can.
What do you think about let Teresa talk to people in Oak Island this next week, see what they have, what the price of that was, and let that be part of our discussion, which way we want to go. If we get results back from her, and we, at the next meeting, have that information available to us, we still have ample time to apply for the grant through the next.
We've got to get it started by, end of November.
Well, I figure if I
First
walk
of
in there in
December, because
person.
we don't, it takes a while to get that rolled up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, I think we need to be working on another aspect of design while she's trying to do that. Contacting either engineers or
Well, now,
companies.
I did get information from Stallings, I think, about who did theirs, the name of the company. So that could be an avenue.
theirs is super nice. I
Oh, yeah.
don't think we could afford one like theirs.
Who's,
Stylus.
Stylus.
Is it Stallings or Stallings?
It's
Depends on who you're talking to.
Stallings.
Natives call it Stallings.
Excuse me.
If you're from around here, it's Stallings.
Stallings.
But their mayor calls it Stallings.
It's like we call Cornelius Cornelius up in North Bangor.
Who does?
Cornelius.
Okay, so Teresa, you're gonna check
Yes.
on that. Ed, can you follow up with Dinesh and see if you can get some information about designers and do that kind of thing? I think there are probably contractors out there that if we get the right design, could do it for less than 200, 300,000 just for a prefab stage. Everybody okay? Hopefully we'll have something to, by the next meeting. Okay, move to item number 2, discuss approve the estimate for walking trail mulch. Jerry?
we had, 1, 2, 3, 4 big piles of mulch left. From the chipping on the trees. And they left that on site. And Tim looked at it, seems to think that's enough to mulch the trail. We got a couple spots, it's a little bit soft. And he's got a mulching trailer that he can just flip a lever and get more mulch out or pull it back and get less mulch out. So in the spots that need it, he can go a little heavier, and spots that don't need it, you can just go thin with it.
Kind of like a manure spread or something?
Yeah. This, it's
Manure
flat,
spread.
just like a manure spread.
It's like a manure spreader.
This is farming country. We don't know. This is what-
I understand.
We know what
I
the
understand.
manure spreader
I understand, and we all understood that.
He's got a figure of $2,400 to put the mulch out.
Is that taking all the mulch out of the park, all those 4 piles?
Yeah. And if he's got some left, we either keep it or we have him put it a little heavier in some spots. But the total amount is $2,400, and decision we need to make is whether we want to go ahead and do this or not. Because it is a couple spots, it's gonna be a little muddy when the rainy season gets here. But our trail we worked it to where it's pretty daggum level. It's gonna be very little runoff on it unless it just comes 4 or 5 inches. And I think that the hole, once it gets put down, gets wet, and kind of sticks together, I think it holds out real well.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job on
When I went up the 4 grandkids, we walked it yesterday. It's nice.
What do you think of the overlook at the creek?
Great, except you can imagine we have all 4 of them, and this may be illegal, I had all 4 of them with their shoes and socks off in the creek. It's great.
And they finally in this bush.
They look for them.
Okay.
My wife, like, huh?
Still looking.
Still looking.
My wife, she gives incentives. She said, anybody finds a snake, it's $10. They found a snake skin down there in the rocks in the creek. So
I got five.
Those are five. No, it was good. It really was good. It was kind of, somebody, I think it was Mike Mellon, just walked recently, and he took red paint in some of those places that had little.
We're gonna take care of that. I've got the tool to do it. I just
But they,
today.
my son told the grandkids it was blood. Justification is kind of hard. Oh, bear blood on top of that. But it's good. They did a good job.
Yeah, I thought they did too. Comments, questions? We'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve $2,400 to spread the mulch to the trail.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? The motion carries. Item 3, discuss the NCLM resolution and agreement. Darrell and I talked about this. This is for the cybersecurity. When we met with the state folks a few weeks back, there were 3 areas that we expressed interest in. That was cybersecurity, grant writing, and engineering for a stage and amphitheater. This is the first of the resolutions for cybersecurity. And Darrell, correct me if I'm wrong, but once we meet with them and they meet with us and they decide what we need from a cybersecurity standpoint, we can either take it or leave it.
Yeah, they'll give us recommendations and we don't have to necessarily do or buy whatever they recommend, but they'll just look at our cybersecurity and see how it stacks up and what we might need to improve.
And so far, we haven't had a problem with cybersecurity, other than the emails, the trash emails that we get. Just because it hasn't happened in the past doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. So I don't think it would hurt to have another set of eyes looking at it to see if.
And they'll work with our IT guy as well to kind of coordinate all that.
Okay.
All of our financial information, is that on your system?
Yeah, it's on my website.
So that's separate from the town?
Okay.
That's also on the website, our financial information.
The reports.
The reports.
Yeah, they're on the
Banking
website.
information,
Yeah, see, all
All the transactions are on
that's on yours.
yes.
Now, these
But the
resolutions.
website has public information.
That's my understanding. This one looks like it's.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you know,
If somebody hacked his computer, They
Well,
would get-
it's the standalone, it's not tied into
Yeah.
Is it backed up anywhere?
Yeah, back it up with, can't remember that, but it's an off-site backup. I can't think of the name of it, but anyway.
Any questions or comments on the?
this just, it doesn't really lock us into anything, it just is an opportunity for services.
For free service.
Another set of eyes looking at it.
Yeah.
And we have to approve this resolution, and then I'll send it to them, and they send Phil an email to sign, Zoom, well, not Zoom, but DocuSign. They'll send it to you, and you sign it and send it back.
And if what I heard say to be true, if it is true, that where the same resolution will be coming up maybe in the future for design and engineering, the thing is this, if we do this, we can't do that one, or is there any limit?
Well, there'll be resolutions that need to be done, or you can authorize me or whoever to sign, and then that'll start the process of
No limit.
for that particular thing.
Any questions, concerns?
So we need a motion to giving either Darrell or Phil the authority to go ahead and sign the resolution for.
Need to approve the resolution, and it'll go to Phil to sign.
So moving that we give approval for Phil to sign the resolution for the cybersecurity to the League of Municipalities.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I'm assuming they wrote this resolution.
They did.
I was gonna say.
Your attorney.
Yes.
Or a squad of attorneys.
Phil's pretty smart, man, the way he wrote this.
No. I have trouble reading
I
legalese.
know.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. We'll move to council comments. Jerry, do you have any comments?
No, other than I'm gonna try to get the, them little short snags out of the trail before, I get Tim in there and spread the mulch. Looks like we're gonna be dry for a little while longer, maybe a little bit of rain this weekend, but not much. I'm gonna get, Leon to come over and I'm gonna walk the return trail with him and his tractor bush hog, and let him bush hog it out, so that if we get any estimates on the return trail, they'll know how where to look. It won't be saying, well, it runs here and there's a flag somewhere over there. And it'll be right down where they won't do, they can roll a roller through it. Measurement tape through it.
Anything else?
That's all I've got.
Tricia?
I enjoyed being at the festival on Saturday. I thought it was fabulous. And I understood it got bigger after I left, so it was a good thing. Only other thing, I'm working on the holiday lights, and we've already gotten at least one application for the Halloween lights, so we'll see what happens by the end of the day, Thursday.
And I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but when we walked yesterday, you know, when the different people that floated on the trail, they went out and you got 3 or 4 different colors of the tape on the trees. And other trails have been in the past, is it possible for whoever would be responsible to go back, go ahead and use spray paint on the trunks of trees to designate where the tree is with one color? You know what I'm saying? Wait.
None of the rest of us gonna be in the woods. None of the rest of us. are gonna be
I mean, on the portion we've already got done, just so people know that it's supposed to be going by the trees. Does that make sense?
Well, it's clear. Are you talking about so they'll know to stay on the trail?
Yes. Because there's some areas, like, so we got over, a reason, and maybe just me, we got over a little farther up. There was some confusion to us which way the trail went. We went across the field and came across the backside down to the overlook. It's supposed to be going around the edge over there. Unless I did it wrong, I don't know. I mean, it's just that we could delineate exactly where the trail is, just by just marking trees and get rid of the trees.
Well, he brought it back along the edge of the woods, Phil and I walked it. And that's nothing but a muddy mess. We're gonna keep that area closed. You'll come out of the woods, go around the field a ways, and then you go up the hill and get back a left and come back, and then you'll reverse yourself and come on back.
Yeah, like, and
If
exactly.
you go that other way, you could be walking in knee-deep mud. That little end down there, it usually stands in water.
That's when he goes off the left down the hill and back up on the other side. So we're gonna be avoiding that until
You go across the top of that hill.
hill, then back down to the overlook. That's what we did. I wasn't sure if that was the trail we're using.
Yeah, that's it. John, you have anything?
It's funny, I was reading through that, the thing we just voted on, and it's got a couple things in there about Iran and Israel, and just reminded me of everything's going on over there. We need to keep those people in our thoughts and prayers.
I've got one more comment that y'all heard me fuss about this meeting. During the festival, of course, I took the locks off the toilet paper in the ladies. I went up there. I filled them Saturday night, I think, because I knew I wouldn't have time Sunday, but I went up Monday morning. I was missing 6 rolls of toilet paper. Well, out of the women's bathroom. I mean, no cord there, no cardboard there. And normally, when they get through with it, they leave the cardboard. And I said, well, at least I'm all right in the men's. And I walked over to the men's, and there's 3 rolls of this in there. So, and I had a party going on, so I filled it all up with new rolls. So that was about 7, 8, 9 rolls of toilet paper just shot to the wind. So I'm putting locks back on the women's, and I didn't have them with me. I left them at home. And, I think I'm gonna buy one for the men's too. If it happens again in there. I could understand that during COVID, people couldn't buy. But now,
So it's
that's just meanness.
I never pay attention to the toilet paper in the bathroom in there. Maybe I should start paying attention, but is there 1 or 2 rolls in the dispenser?
3
So there's 3, so the lock, so they'll have access to 3,
rolls.
that unlocking in and resurfacing.
I came back from the beach, and my assistant had 10 rolls, half rolls, setting up in the windowsill. Every time they got half empty, she put a brand new roll on. Now, I don't do that. I may put 1 new one on, unless it's a party it's rented, and I'll put a couple smaller ones on. And that does fine until most people use those small ones. I found that out over the years. I learned a lot about bathrooms over the years.
A lot more near going now, right?
And,
Well, we certainly locked the,
So I've got-
one back here, I'll tell you that.
I've got a lot of half rolls of toilet papers to dispose of to save that stuff. And she can't speak English, I can't chew her out. I hate that. Shannon's nice, I hate to tell her about it, but I've got to do something about it.
Shannon will get the word, she'll get the word to her, I'm sure.
Like I say, our toilet tissue is locked.
And, you know,
I'm the only one that probably uses it, but
well, they're from Cuba, when you, the trips I made to Cuba in the airport, that, as long as they don't charge the men, but the women pay 3 cents per square. So it's a challenge.
Teresa, you have anything?
I'll just let y'all know that there's an Eagle Scout going to be putting up a new swing at the park. He's going to put it up where the wooded picnic area is up there. Because he just thinks that's a beautiful place that you can sit and swing and watch the sunsets. And so we purchased the swing like we do with the other Eagle Scouts. So we should be getting that shortly because the swing came in this past week.
Okay, good. Darryl, you have anything?
No.
Discussion?
So we're already geared towards Christmas. That is December the 9th. If your church, business, whatever wants to be involved, we're doing the same thing as normal, hoping maybe the council can sit and give out stockings to all the kids. Last year, we bought 500 stockings and ran out within an hour. So we really don't know how many by this year. But I did notice when we were setting up for the fall festival, everywhere where the power lines were dug for the new poles, they have sunk a lot. I mean, a good, in some spots, 6, 8 inches that the lines have sunk, and it's just going to take somebody stepping in it and breaking their ankle. And it's all along where they dug for the power lines. So just a little heads up.
I was afraid of that when they got that backhoe out there.
Yeah.
Probably, Mike's committee maybe could take care of that. Ed, you have anything?
No.
The Be My Breast Cancer Walk is Saturday morning. The gates open at 8 a.m., opening ceremony at 9 o'clock. Admission is $15 for adults and $10 for students. That's an area that's dear to my heart. My mother was a 20-plus year survivor of breast cancer. My daughter-in-law was diagnosed about a year ago. So you can go out and support that. We're getting, the council members are getting emails that are trying to get our personal information. So if you see something that's giving you something free, or you're taking a survey or something like that. I saw one the other day come in from CVS, but it was C-P-S, where I had won something, wanted me to go in and start putting in information. So be very careful when you're getting these emails, and all the council members, I think, are getting the same ones, because when I looked at it, it's like everybody's names on there. Be very careful about what you click on, clicking on those links.
You get $1 million, I mean, that's true.
Yeah,
Put a
I
solid
know.
fence.
Just wait for it.
I'm on a tool set, but I haven't got it yet.
Yeah, one came in from Northern Tools, I think, one came from CVS. They're coming in all the time. I usually get several of them every month. Okay, that's all I've got. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for